think I did it. Yep, it looks like I did it. Cool. Guess I'll just play notes and see if anybody shows up. Anyway, I wouldn't expect anybody to show up for my very first stream right at the beginning, but I do plan to leave this video up for people to watch later. So, hello. I didn't practice a lot over the holidays. I think this is pretty common. So what I thought I would do today is just kind of go through, first of all, my warm-up routine. So things that I do pretty much every day in order to, get my chops back or keep them going. Something I do every day. I've had, one of my former teachers has a really great quote that, you have to reacquaint yourself with the instrument every day you pick it up and play it. And so I'll start with my warm-up routine. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's just what I do to try to stay in shape. And in this case, I'm going to try to use it to get back in shape. So without any further delays, I made a thing. Let's do it. So like any good bass player, I will start with long tones. And I do this in chromatic scales and just listening to tone, trying to articulate every single note, and play in tune. So let's start there. Articulating near the tip. Hi, Jason. Good to see you. Yeah, see? I suck at articulating near the tip. There we go. you may have noticed that I went only up to here on the lower two strings, and I went up to the first harmonic on the D string. Really, I'm just targeting like the most played notes that I'm going to experience on the bass, and just be sure that I play them before I do anything else. So on the G string, I'm going all the way up to D harmonic and back down. Usually I end up speeding things up as I get down, because then I'm going to do some faster permutations of a chromatic scale just to kind of kick the dust off of my fingers. Cool. Next thing that I usually do are one finger scales. First finger all the way up to the fifth and back down, second finger and fourth finger on all four strings. What is the screw made of on my bow? This is a Reed Hudson that I got from a friend here in Omaha who bought it new in, I think, like the mid-90s. This is actually cow horn, if you can believe it. It's actually a really, really nice material. Can't really see much detail. This is an absolute potato of a webcam, so it sucks at focusing. But yeah, it is actually horn from a cow. Or bull, I guess. I don't know. One of those animals. So, one finger scales, root to fifth and back down, each finger, each string. Try to be better about keeping my vibrato continuous through the shifts. I have this really bad habit I think a lot of us do, of pausing the vibrato before we shift, but I'm going to try to keep it going. String. No, I gotta keep the vibrato going, guys. I'm gonna have this like insufferable wolf on my A on this bass. It's the only thing I don't like about this bass right now. So now my fingers feel more ready to do things. So the next thing that I usually do is go through all of my major scales with a different bowing variation on every scale. It's nothing, it's nothing new or novel or anything. It's just, I have a certain variation that I do on every scale every day. It's consistent, it's comfy, and I love it. So we're going to start with C major in whole notes. Nice and slow. Usually, I don't do this with a metronome so much anymore, but it's usually sits somewhere between 60 and 80 beats per minute. love about playing in front of actual people is I need to keep myself honest. So that told me I need to focus more on legato bow changes when I play a scale like that. Anyway, I'm going to move on for now. Next is G major, and I'm going to do that in connected half notes. To speak there, but could you please do it? I'm going to blame it on the wolf. There we go. If all else fails, just blame your bass in some way. It's a wolf tone, I need a rehair, I need more rosin, anything like that. Does watching you practice count as my own practice time? I'm going to go with yes, because we'll just go with yes. Yes, it counts as your own practice time. If you're watching this, especially if you're in school and you have some kind of practice log, or your teacher makes you do a practice log, this counts. So always come. I'll just live stream all the time, and you can just get all your practice in by watching me practice. Next is D major. This one is particularly challenging in a different way than anything before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a dotted half in a down bow, and then a quarter note in an up bow. So what's challenging about that is that I have 3 beats in a down bow, and then one beat to get all the way back. And what I don't want is for it to sound like I'm pushing the note really hard to try to get back. I want to try to get them to sound equal and even. What rosin do I use? I use Wiedoeft. Wiedoeft. I never worked on my pronunciation of things that look like that, so we'll go with Wiedoeft. I used to use Pops for a really long time, and then I tried Kolstein for a little while. I started using this, I think, last summer. Not this past pandemic summer, but the summer before that, and I haven't looked back. It's just worked for me. Anyway, dotted half down bow, quarter note up bow, and we'll try to keep them as even as we can. Next would be A major. We're just going to go kind of in the circle. What do I do on this one? Half note, whole note. So I'm going to end up practicing articulating both at the frog and the tip. So when I do quarter, whole, then I've got to articulate the next two half notes in the upper half of the bow. So that's the challenge that goes with that. E major. Same concept, just instead of half notes, it's going to be quarter notes. So 4 quarter notes followed by a whole note. And then you articulate at the tip. Same idea, just a slightly different variant. Let's get those E's consistent. There we go. B major. On this one, this is going to be more articulation exercise at both the frog and the tip, but it's going to be kind of a pull and release exercise. So I do 2 at the frog and then 2 at the tip after in a B major scale. So through the next couple of keys, honestly, it's more of the same. Exercising, getting articulations at the frog and the tip. It's like a couple more variations of that. So that would be G flat, D flat, and A flat. I promise I'm not skipping them because they're difficult keys. I actually really like playing in flat keys, but I wanted to get to the last few, which is A flat, E flat, B flat, F, because that's where I start practicing some of my strokes. So this will be, what is it, 16th notes? Yeah. And now we start practicing an off stroke. B flat is going to be sextuplets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Sextuplets, and it's still going to be kind of off, but it's going to be a lot closer to the string now because it's starting to get a lot faster. Last one will be F, and I'm just going to assume, like this is the first time I've actually streamed to YouTube in any capacity, so I'm just going to assume that this sounds okay. I figured that somebody would have yelled at me by this point if it didn't sound okay, so I'm nervous. Does it sound good? Does it sound okay? We're going to go for F major. This time it's going to be 32nd notes, and it's going to get a lot closer to the string. Barely going to leave the string if at all, especially on the lower strings. So 32nd notes on F. Off the end of that one. And that's going to be, when I say it's going to be close to the string and not even leaving, the stick is still going to be extremely active. So it's on the string, but the stick still has a lot of activity in it to give it that bounce. Sounds good. Awesome. Sounds great. Awesome. I think it sounds nice. I'm just listening to you play bass while I doodle and relax. That sounds great, Emily. Thanks for coming. So we've now completed the warm-up portion of this inaugural episode of Bobby's Bass YouTube live stream. So the next thing that I've been trying to do, next thing I've been trying to do to get back in shape is there's a great adaptation of some of the Sevchik violin exercises by Neil Tarleton, and I super get into it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take this away, and we're gonna add that one in. There should be a link to a PDF in the video description of what I'm going to be digging into now. If there's not, yell at me. Or if you just super don't feel like following along, you super don't have to. But I thought I'd put it there just in case you did. So I'm looking at number 4. And if you're not familiar with this book, or the concepts that it's going for, basically there's an exercise at the beginning, then there's a whole whack ton of bowing variations to do on the same exercise. Now, before anybody freaks out, I'm not going to do every single, on this first one, I'm not doing all 75 bowing variations. That would take, I've actually tried before, it takes a really long time. Some of the later exercises have 250 plus bowing variations. I'm not doing them all. I usually kind of pick and choose what I feel like I need. And since we're getting back into shape, let's just pick a few. If you're looking at the PDF and you see one that you really, really want me to do, awesome. Number 4 is extremely straightforward and just has very, very basic things. Number 5 is going to have more fun stuff. So we'll get to it. We'll get to it in a minute. But we'll just start with the vanilla exercise for now. It's about 80. Some of my string crossings, especially to the E string, don't speak like I want to. Sometimes it's a bow thing and I just don't connect it right. Sometimes it's actually a left hand thing. Sometimes I have this tendency to not hop over, especially if it's like a 4-4 or a 1-1 or a 2-2 when I change strings. I don't quite get there in time and it just doesn't connect. So that's something I've kind of got ears on. Let's do, some of it is similar to the stuff that I've done in the bowing variations already. I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna slur 2 for this next time. awesome. There we go. Let's just do a couple more 4s and then we'll get to the good stuff in number 5. Actually, the last line at number 70, those are really nice to do. I'll do them in the lower half and then I'll do them in the upper half and then we'll get to the good stuff in number 5. Actually, I think I'm going to hook it and then call it on this one. Cool. I'm going to flip over to number 5. This one gets a little bit more involved with the variations, especially on the second and third pages. So once I do a couple of these, if anybody's following along and wants to make me sweat a little bit, call one out, I'll play it. Or at least I can try. Some of them are a little bit rude, but we'll do the best we can. I'll do the vanilla, and then I'll just kind of pick and choose. If you see one you like, that you'd like to hear, holler it out. Anyway. I just kind of chaos reigns on tempo on this sometimes, so here we go. Actually, again, it's my first time streaming on YouTube. Can somebody verify for me that they are able to access the PDF in the description? Some of these streams, I think, especially as I get more music on my plate with my orchestras, I'd like to be able to, like, show practicing some of the hard passages and what they look like and in what context. And so I'd like to be able to put sheet music in the description of a stream and have people actually be able to click it. So if it's there, oh sweet, you printed them. That's awesome. Cool. I'm glad you were able to access that. Okay, so that was the vanilla exercise. I really like literally the second one on here, which is similar to what we did in the bowing variations, and that's doing a staccato articulation at frog and tip on each of these. So we're going to do that next. So much. I love the frog to tip articulate and release exercise, mainly because it's kind of a preparatory thing. It forces you to practice that motion so that when it gets smaller and more towards the balance point, that literally becomes the motion that you're going to make to get a nice solid connection on your off strokes. So it's really a preparatory exercise for that. Anyway, let's hop down to slur 2. That's number 15. Let's jump to slur 4, number 18. That B needs to be in tune. Think this is actually one, but I like to do slur 8 on this one too, just because it's really satisfying to play. So we're going to do that one next. start having some fun. I'm on the second page now. There's a circled one. I don't know whose book this was that was actually copied to make this, but they really like 53 and they like the entirety of the last line of that grouping. So 53 is going to be a whole bow and then hooked staccato up bows. It's not too fast. It's more like 60. But, like I said, chaos reigns on tempo. I'll take my own tempo. Let's do 55. 4 staccato, 4 legato. And I think it literally reverses on 56, so you've got to articulate both in down bows and in up bows. So let's do that one. Yeah, staccato first, then legato, groups of 4. Still starts down bow, but it's legato then staccato. Let's do one of the ones on the last line of that grouping, and then we're going to start getting into more like stroke stuff, which I'm all about. I like playing bow strokes on the bass. They're really, really fun. 59. Yeah, so it's like tricky variants of a similar concept. We're not so much staccato on this one, but it is a whole bow, a quarter note, and then 2 eighth notes all in one bow. Yeah, it's hard to get a quarter note out of that one down bow. It is a little slower. Nope. do some strokes. Let's do some triplets. I'm going to do these a little bit more like a, like an orchestral off stroke. And that's close to 116. It's about 120. Let's just do all triplets. Then there's some variants. Let's do 71. So that's a measure of triplets followed by a measure of being legato. Different kind of challenge. Oh, I see. If I'm going to do that one, I probably should keep it a little more on the string because I'm going to have to do that all the way out at the tip. We're going to do it anyway. I've committed to it. Yikes. Articulating at the tip on the E string, man. Okay. What do we got on the next page? Faster strokes. Let's do 16th. Let's just go for it. May as well. All 16ths all the time. Okay, I've committed. We're doing it. Still, getting those to articulate really well on the E string kind of sucks. It's hard. I need just a second here. Anyone who's here, you guys, like some bass players, mostly bass players, my friends in real life, do we play bass? Do we play something else? options here. What should I do? The past month I've probably played the most I ever have because I had an audition. That's awesome. So you already had the audition. How did it go? Oh, Sweet One Saraband. Nice. How'd your audition go? I think I want to do just some simple 16ths followed by 8ths for the next one. Yeah. Went pretty well. I had some mistakes in the Bach, and I had to play the Capuzzi bass concerto. Very cool. You only had 4 weeks to prepare it. Dang, dude. The Capuzzi. Is that one? Did you do the one in F, the version in F, or the version in D? Also, I'm getting burned out on Sevchik, but this is something. This is something. Oh, you did the one in F major. Dittersdorf is kicking my butt right now. Have I played it? I have worked with one student on the first movement because they were already playing it. I haven't worked on the Dittersdorf nearly enough. No, I haven't played it. I'd have to practice it. The classical concerto I have done in the past is Von Hall. I have both fond and not fond memories of working on Von Hall. For rosin, I use Wiedoeft rosin. I'm a super big fan of it. I used to use Pops. I think I said this earlier in the stream, but I used to use Pops for a really, really long time. Some days I would like it, other days I wouldn't. Wiedoeft just seems to be consistent, at least for me. I've talked to some of my colleagues that absolutely hate it, but it works for me, so I use it. Anyway, so what I was gonna do on a different stream, but since there are a few bass players here, I'm gonna take this away, and I'm gonna put these words up. I don't have linked to the music in the description, but the term I'm going for here is Excerpt Gauntlet. How the Excerpt Gauntlet works is you pick a standard bass excerpt. Maybe be reasonable for the first one because I'm still getting in shape. So don't do like, Mozart 35 4th movement followed by Mozart 40 4th movement followed by Heldenleben followed by Till Eulenspiegel. Just don't do that to me. At least on the first one. But you pick a major bass excerpt and I play it. And if I suck at it, I have to practice it and get it good in a reasonably short amount of time, to the best of my abilities. So, one of you bass players needs to request an excerpt. Or if there's a non-bass player in the chat that wants to request what they know to be a major bass excerpt. It's time for me to sweat a little bit, guys. Opening a Mahler 2. That's a really good one to start with. I haven't looked at that in a month of Sundays, man. God, I sound like an old person. I need to stop doing that. So, the way I envisioned the Excerpt Gauntlet going, there it is. Hopefully this isn't going to be in anyone's way. Can I still read that with my tired eyes? I kind of can. The way I kind of envisioned the Excerpt Gauntlet going is I'm going to try to play through it all the way once. And then I'll try to address a few things and use some of my strategies to make it better. And if there's anybody who's like, hey, you know, I have this great strategy for this part in the Mahler 2 excerpt, hit me up. But I'm gonna need to swipe rosin for this, man. Oh my god. Why did I choose to do this today? Ugh. Just needed to put a little more technique on my bow, guys. Okay, so the excerpt is Mahler 2. Let's see what happens. I love that excerpt so much. It's just such a banger, man. Come on, Schubert Arpeggione, dude, don't do this to me. That's not a major bass excerpt. That's a freaking sonata. I played it on a recital like 5 years ago and I haven't touched it since. Yikes. Okay, so there are a few things I want to clean up. I think I'll work backwards. I really just want to make sure that all of these are like super freaking clean. Because we're at the end, it's fortissimo and this needs to blast. So let's try to make it blast. Start to lose articulation a little bit on the A string. Reasonable amount of time. Don't spend forever on this, Bobby. Okay, I like that. Yeah, the rest rest of that seemed okay. The place where I really lost some articulation was in these passages. So, how am I going to practice that? Okay, so one way that I'm going to practice trying to get... they were a little out of tune too, so I'm actually going to, even though they're shorter, on the shorter side, I'm actually going to play it legato, just to feel out every single note and feel it in tune and make sure my bow connects it with it really well. Like that A flat. Okay. Now I'll make it short. Fourth finger kind of gets flat sometimes. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Okay, a little faster, and let's do the subito piano one from earlier in the excerpt. That's feeling pretty good. Getting the pianissimo low C to speak perfectly sucks, and I'm going to try to be better at that right now. Because I want it to connect, but I don't want it to be too loud. You just want to like barely kiss it. That was better. That's got to be better. It's hard to be really accurate and also very quiet. One more time. Subito piano got me going. Mitchell Shiner in the house. My God. Sounds like a lullaby that would be sung by the figure in a photo behind you. Yeah, so, okay, so this guy, it's a lithograph that a friend of mine did for me. I call him the professor, and he constantly judges my practicing. Anytime I'm out of tune, anytime I suck at something, I know the professor's there, and I know he heard me, and I know he's judging me. Mitch, I miss you too, dude. If we weren't in pandemic times, we would have to meet up and have a good time out on the town. The professor keeps me honest, Mitch. Okay, so the last thing that I want to deal with in this is the opening. So what's tough about this is getting the first note of these 16ths to really have like bite accented sforzando. For anybody that's not a bass player that's worked on this, and I'm sorry I don't have the music, I was not prepared for an Excerpt Gauntlet today. Even though it's on the screen, we'll just ignore that. It has an accent, a sforzando, and it's triple forte. So it's there's kind of a lot going on that first note. So you want it to rip, and you want it to be contrasted to the notes that come after it. Hopefully I'm not blasting everybody out with this C. I'm kind of getting into red territory there. That's better. So what? I've spent like 10 minutes on that. I think that's going to be good for Excerpt Gauntlet. So I'll spend like 10 minutes on the excerpt trying to make it better, trying to make it suck less, and then I'll do what I'm going to do right now, which is play it again, and hopefully it sucks less. Here goes nothing. So there's the Mahler 2. I think it was a little better than the first time. Still made some mistakes, but we're gonna keep working. Hi from Poland, big fan of your channel. I just quickly say you have no idea how life-changing these videos can be. Dude, that means so much to me. During the pandemic, I lost my job. Decided to give it a shot, and after a few months of preparation, you got accepted into a music academy. Joanna, that's awesome. Not sure how it would have ended if it wasn't for Double Bass Community on YouTube. Huge thanks. Dude, that means so much. That's awesome. Bigger online based community would be so good, especially for beginners and really anyone. Yeah, so, okay. So, yeah, the pandemic is what caused me to start the channel. And I'm super glad I did, because it gave me opportunities to like actually have projects and actually not sit on my butt all the time. But it's interesting that you say, especially for beginners or really anyone, and when you start working on like a thing, you know, I wanted to think about what's my target audience, and I decided that my target audience was gonna be specifically bass players, but really anybody, but specifically bass players age 16 through like 25 or 30. And anybody who's older or younger than that like can super get into the channel and super get into the content. But I chose that because like it's my favorite age group of people to be around and hang out with and work with. You know, like late high school kids I find super fun to work with as students. College students that are like developing into professionals are super fun to work with. And so, guys, like I'm just really glad. I'm just really happy that you like the channel. It means a lot to hear that. Yes, go play Mahler 2. I need another excerpt though. That's the thing. So what's next in the Excerpt Gauntlet? I need to like roll up my sleeves because it's getting warm. It's a lot of Mahler. Britain Young Person's Guide. Another banger. Like, pretty much every bass excerpt is a banger, though. Alright, Young Person's Guide it is. If I can work the button on this dang Christmas flannel. You guys get into, like, what I call Christmas flannel. What I mean by Christmas flannel is it's flannel that you received for Christmas either this year or in Christmases past or holidays past or birthdays past. It can be birthday flannel. I really like flannel. And this is a Christmas flannel from like 2 or 3 years ago. Britain starts with B. So I was going the wrong direction. That's E. B-R-I is how you spell Britain. B-R-I is how you spell Britain. Man, you guys are going for the jugular on these excerpts. Okay. Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. I've played this twice. It's so much fun. You always play it at a kid's concert, and there's like, at least in Omaha, like some of the kids' concerts when it's non-pandemic times, there's like 1,500 kids, maybe hearing the very first orchestral performance of their life, and they get to hear this piece, and it's freaking awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to play this the first time, but I know I'm gonna stumble. Ooh, I need a fingering. What do you say we work backwards? Let's get these G major scales to work, please. I need a good fingering. And it's not that. Here we go. Do you have a standard bass repertoire book to recommend? Like for excerpts? If you're talking about excerpts, they're not always the best, but the best bang for your buck is going to be the PDF from orchestraexcerpts.com. Because it's just like, it has just about every major bass excerpt in it. And I think it's like $8. And they're blank, so you can mark them up with your own stuff when you're preparing for auditions and stuff like that. That's what I'm looking at right now, actually. So as far as excerpts go, that's a great place to start. Anytime that you're in school, for example, and you get like a good edition, like Calmuses are fine. Everybody has their opinions about editions, right? Breitkopfs are usually pretty good. Barenreiter are generally pretty good. So when you get good parts in your hand, just photocopy them. Or like scan them with your phone and save them to your computer. So then you've got like good editions. Don't be like me and sleep on that when you're in school, because I'm not in school anymore. I don't have access to these editions anymore. I really should do that with my orchestra music, but yeah. Anyway, so orchestraexcerpts.com has got, I think, a PDF still available for like $8. Let's deal with these G major scales. Okay, so I need to practice this to be very, very fast and very, very accurate. So one of the things I'm going to do, I think it was the very first video I put on my channel, how to practice fast passages. We're going to do groups of 2, offset it. We're going to do groups of 3 and offset it. And hopefully land on a G at the end. God, I need to land on that G, man. Oh, I'm overshooting it. Vomit exercise, anyone? Better, it still needs to get that G. Better, I still can't get that freaking G, man. Yikes. I think I just need to keep my finger down longer until I actually get to the harmonic. So what's happening is I'm anticipating the harmonic, and then the whole thing farts out before I even get there. There it is. Modern problems require modern solutions. That's what I'm talking about. Well, I think that's what I did. I kind of cheesed it and ended up on second finger for the second scale. Yeah, I cheesed it. Sometimes you just gotta cheese it. Especially when you're on the clock. Let's try to get this first this last accelerondo to be less terrible. And I'm just gonna place every note. Alright, let's try it again. Yeah, I might just have to Chaos Reigns YOLO that, guys. I'm not gonna sit here and practice an octave shift for an hour. Okay, that feels better. I need to remember what my fingering is on the Espressivo theme. What did I do there? Ah, I went to thumb there. There it is. Yes, that's my fingering. Okay, opening, and then I play it again. I think I got one more excerpt in me, and then I've got to stop playing bass. I've been playing for almost an hour and a half straight. This is good for me. I need to get back in shape. I'm so glad you guys are here. This is awesome. All right, so we're going to place every note in the opening and make sure I can play it. Yikes. This is another place where just playing it legato is super helpful. So I can just hear what I'm doing. I'm going to do it one more time, slow. Memory starting to take over. We give it another shot. And then I've got one more excerpt. Think about the last excerpt you want to hear for the evening while I do an impression of Young Person's Guide. Do that right. Oh, that's it. When I play this excerpt, I do that in one bow. The last G I do in two bows. Okay, this is for real this time. I'll take that for now. I'll take it. I don't see the last Gauntlet excerpt, guys. This is the last shot for today. How badly do you want to destroy me? Or do you want to be nice to me? Do you want to do, like, I don't know. What's a really nice, easy excerpt? Beethoven 5. Okay. I mean, that's pretty kind. It depends on which excerpt would you like to hear from Beethoven 5, my friend. That kind of matters. Your options being the theme, or the theme in the second movement, scherzo and trio in scherzo or trio. I'm not doing both. In the third movement, and we're just gonna ignore the fourth movement. There's too many really rude arpeggios. Scherzo. Again, right in the jugular. The trio is fine. The scherzo I struggle with for my own reasons, but we're here. We're gonna try the scherzo. Mostly it's just, I mean, the scherzo is just a bow control thing, man. Anyway, no excuses. This is the post-holiday get back in shape stream, and this is the Excerpt Gauntlet. So, no excuses in the Gauntlet. Dude, I haven't worked on the scherzo like probably a year. I've been going back to front on all of these. I'm going to go front to back on this. So I picked up some really nice strategies for working on these like legato connected arpeggios. They're really hard to do, and the fact that they're like super soft doesn't make them any easier. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is what Albert Laszlo calls permutations. And so what we're going to do is we're going to think in, we'll try groups of 4. And the idea is that I'm going to like espressivo vibrate and really, really love the first note in the group of 4 and then continue. Be nice if I could articulate it, yeah? And then you do the second note in the group of 3, or the group of 4. Again, be nice if I could articulate, yeah? Third. I screwed up the bowing on that one. Oops. Okay, now let's try putting in context. It's a little better. Intonation isn't super on point, but that's a great way to practice those. Another thing that super helps when you need to be really subtle with an entrance is if your bow is already in motion when you get ready to start. It makes starting that note so much easier. Whereas if I just have to start from cold, I'm either going to, at least in my case, I'm either going to overplay it and stick it, or I'm going to be so nervous about getting that note to speak that it's just not going to. But if the bow's already in motion and my left hand's ready to go, you know, you don't want to like make it obvious that your bow's moving, but just have it in motion right before you play the note. Works for me, and it works in orchestra really, really well when you just need to be subtly articulate on those notes. Now, this is a classic set pull release. It's just got to maintain connection. These are great candidates for vibrato as well. permutation on this one. Perhaps the rudest shift in all of Beethoven. Second note. Kind of forget which note I'm doing towards the end of that, but the exercise still remains the same. Third note. Now I just need to deal with this shift. I know some people go over here for it. I don't know, it's in my muscle memory to go D string. But if you're playing this excerpt, you're playing this in orchestra, it's totally valid to go to the A string for that. About as good as it's gonna get. So we'll give the excerpt one more try, and then I'm about spent. 2 hours of straight bass playing is a lot, man. Okay, Beethoven Scherzo, Beethoven 5 Scherzo Movement 3. Here we go. For what, like 10, 12 minutes of work? I'll take it. I think that's about where my bass playing ends for today. If you're hanging out in the chat and you have a burning question for me for some reason, feel free to ask. I'll hang out for a couple minutes just in case anybody's got something they want to talk about, or they want to ask, or if you've got a practice strategy on any of those excerpts that you want to share. Thanks, Gabriel. I appreciate you coming by. Not bad. Not bad. We had like 8 or 9 people here for most of it. That's like way more than what I expected. I was fully expecting to play scales and bowing variations for like nobody, for myself. But I'm super glad some people showed up. I'll try to get like a good way to like immediately produce. I'm not sure how I want to do the whole link to the music in the description for the Excerpt Gauntlet, because that's the most confusing part of this whole thing, is how I would actually logistically do that. Can I edit? Yeah, I guess I can edit the video description in real time and then just save it. So that's possible. I could do that. I'll be more prepared for it next time. That's for sure. It's good to be on a stream with people. This was fun. Thank you for hanging out. I'm really bad at just candidly talking to a camera. What about stuff that I'm gonna do coming up? We just did the tailpiece review, and that was a lot of fun. What's my favorite piece to play? That's like an impossible question to answer. Honestly, like I'm just thinking of pieces like, and mostly orchestral stuff because that's what I play mostly. Stuff that I've played in recent memory. A few years ago we played the Saint-Saëns organ concerto. Holy crap. You get into like, we packed an orchestra into a church in Lincoln, Nebraska that's got like a super nice organ. There's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. What else have I played in recent memory that I had a ton of fun with? It's funny, we played Britain earlier. It's the Britain Serenade for tenor, horn, and strings. Yeah, by Benjamin Britten. That is an absolutely lovely piece. If you've never heard it, go look it up right now. I've had the great opportunity to play that Britten piece twice in the last like 4 years. Yeah, it's just stupid good. I would say that's definitely up there. Yeah, Tyler, the Saint-Saëns is awesome. So yeah, the organ concerto for sure, the Britten Serenade. We played. Was that? I think it was Rock 9. No, not Rock 9 enough. What am I thinking of? Shostakovich 9. Yeah. Yeah, I think Shosti 9 was super fun. And this is just stuff I've played recently, so anyway, so I have some concerts actually coming up. So the next stream is likely to be Dvorak 8 and possibly the other thing that's on my stand right now, and I just have to be 100% certain that there's no weird like licensing with it. There shouldn't be. It's Vaughan Williams. When was this actually? I don't know when this was actually written, but it's a Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis, and it's actually an antiphonal orchestra piece. So there's going to be Orchestra 1 and Orchestra 2 playing different parts. And so I have the terrifying experience of being Bass 1 and Orchestra 2. But basically what I want the next stream to be is like how I approach practicing orchestra parts. Like I have never played Dvorak 8 and I have never played the Vaughan Williams Thomas Tallis thing. We played that last year in SCSBOA Middle School. I'll just assume that's an acronym that is not important because I don't know what that is. But yeah, I haven't played either of them, so I'd like to just kind of stream how I approach getting through orchestra music in a relatively timely fashion, because it's one thing to spend, like when you're in school, you spend like, a couple of months generally on a concert, and you give a concert in maybe October. I'm thinking college, by the way. You give a concert in October, and then you get a couple more months, and you give a concert in like December. When you play with a professional orchestra, you get maximum 4 rehearsals in a concert. And so preparing really well and in a timely fashion is definitely super important. It's not rocket science, but there are definitely ways to just, you get better at practicing efficiently. So I think that's what the next stream is going to be. But anyway, guys, this has been super fun. I'm sure my cats are very, very upset that I've been in a closed door room for like almost 2 hours. So I'm going to call it here. Thank you so much for coming. Stay tuned for some fun stuff in the next couple of weeks, couple of months. I'm having a ton of fun with this channel, so let's just keep it rolling. Holler at me if there's a topic you want me to cover that I haven't covered yet. Happy to take suggestions. Follow me on Instagram, DM me if you have some suggestions. Anyway, catch you later, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good night.